Thank you. I call the member for Summerhill.
Today I recognise the 50th anniversary of one of the most loved and valued places in my community, the Addison Road Community Centre. Known to many simply as Addi Road, it is a story of country, migration, community and hope. Long before there were gates, huts, warehouses or parade grounds, this place was part of the Gumbora wetland. For tens of thousands of years, this land was cared for by First Nations people whose connection to country continues today. The wetland was drained in the 19th century and land farmed and later converted into an army barracks. In 1976, the former depot was handed over to the community for its use, and following community consultation, a clear vision emerged. Addison Road would be a place where people from across the world would maintain, celebrate and share their cultures they had brought with them to Australia. That mattered deeply in Marrickville, which was and remains one of the most proudly multicultural communities in our state. Speaker, hundreds of volunteers cleaned, painted, repaired and reimagined old army huts, transforming them from military infrastructure to community infrastructure. A place once dedicated to preparing for war became a place dedicated to peace and community. When the Army left Addison Road in 1975, Australia itself was changing. The old certainties were becoming challenged. A more confident, new and generous idea of Australia was emerging, led by the federal Labor government under Gough Whitlam. Addison Road is a living expression of Gough's vision. For many new arrived Australians, Addison Road was one of the first places where they truly belonged. They came seeking practical support and found services and organisations ready to help them navigate life in a new country. But they found something deeper as well. They found community radio stations broadcasting in their languages, festivals celebrating their cultures, halls filled with music and conversation, community kitchens, studios, art spaces where stories mattered and were celebrated. Speaker, for 50 years, the Addison Road Community Organisation has carried that legacy forward. It's been home for migrant communities, artists, volunteers, people seeking support, and a place where difference is embraced. Behind the much-loved Sunday markets is a vibrant atmosphere of serious community work. The food justice programs, including the famous food pantry, have become a lifeline for people struggling through a cost of living crisis. People receive more than food. They receive dignity and they receive a connection. This is also exemplified by Wednesday night lights. Anyone here is welcome to come along for a free meal and to chat and connect with outreach organisations as well, like the Marrickville Legal Centre and Streetside Medics. One of the reasons Addi Road has remained relevant for 50 years is its ability to innovate, and I think the Addi Moves program is exactly that, a free trauma-informed exercise program designed with refugees and asylum seeker communities and delivered in partnership with universities and health and research organisations. Speaker, what makes Addison Road so special is it's a community of communities. There are so many huts with many, many organisations, too many to list here, but to give you a flavour, places like Ethnic Community Services Co-op, Wirringa Baiya, Radio Skid Row, Flight Path Theatre, Hellenic Theatre, the Addison Road Childcare Centre. This co-location creates relationships and opportunities that otherwise would not exist. The result is a community asset whose impact is far greater than the sum of its parts. Speaker, Addison Road exists today because governments of the day recognise that strong communities don't emerge by accident. The decision to hand this former military depot over to the community for its use and support provided in the early years reflected a belief that public assets should be used for public good. 50 years later, the founding vision of Addison Road remains as relevant as ever, and its success is proof of the value of that vision, and we must always protect that. As our city changes and grows, there remains a shared responsibility, including of government, to make sure places like Addison Road continue to thrive. Speaker, the story of Addison Road belongs to the generations of volunteers, community leaders and local who's transformed it into one of Australia's most significant centres of multiculturalism, social justice and community life. It belongs to the visionaries of the Whitlam era and the multicultural pioneers of our country. To the long-standing community leaders like Vivi Germanos and today's leadership under Rosanna Barbero, and to the thousands of staff and volunteers that sustain it each and every day. Because what has been built here over 50 years is invaluable. Congratulations, Addi Road, on a remarkable 50 years.
I call the member for Castle.